20 years later, Beyoncé's team confirms the Jay-Z rumor was real. Cathy White was linked to Jay-Z, denied it, then died suddenly just days before Beyoncé's pregnancy reveal. For years, it was dismissed as coincidence. But now, 20 years later, Beyoncé's team has spoken, and with one cryptic line, they confirmed a rumor fans never stopped whispering about wasn't fiction after all. Chapter 1. The affair that started it all. Beyoncé and Jay-Z weren't just dating, they were building a myth, a brand, an empire. When they first crossed paths in the late 1990s, Beyoncé was still the starry-eyed lead of Destiny's Child, and Jay-Z was already rap's crown prince. But no one, not even their closest friends, could have predicted just how deep, complicated, and powerful their connection would become. For years, they played it cool. Business first, romance a whisper. Then came 03 Bonnie and Clyde in 2002. Beyoncé played Jay-Z's ride-or-die partner in the video, and the chemistry was undeniable. The moment that music video dropped, fans knew something was up. They weren't acting. They didn't need to. It was real, and it was electric. 1 year later, Beyoncé dropped Crazy in Love. Jay-Z featured again, and this time, it wasn't subtle. Their smiles, their closeness, the way they looked at each other. This wasn't collaboration, this was intimacy. But in public, they said nothing. "We're just friends," Jay-Z told Playboy in 2003. Beyoncé echoed that in interviews, playing coy. "We've always been close," she'd say with a smile. Still, fans weren't buying it. They wore matching outfits on red carpets. They performed together like two halves of the same heartbeat, and yet they refused to give the public the satisfaction of a label. Then in 2008, the illusion intensified. Out of nowhere, news broke that Beyoncé and Jay-Z had secretly married in a private ceremony at his Manhattan penthouse. No press, no wedding photos, no rings, just matching 4 tattoos on their ring fingers, a reference to the number 4. A date meaningful to both. It was romantic, powerful, mysterious, but even then, something felt carefully curated, too perfect, too private, and cracks were beginning to show. In 2005, rumors erupted that Jay-Z was having an affair with then-rising star Rihanna. Beyoncé's father and manager Matthew Knowles issued a furious press release denying it, but the damage was done. Fans began dissecting Beyoncé's lyrics. Songs like Resentment and Ring the Alarm didn't sound like fiction anymore. And then came the moment that changed everything. May 7th, 2014, the Met Gala, Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Solange. Hours later, leaked security footage from inside an elevator shook the internet. Solange Knowles was seen lunging, slapping, and kicking Jay-Z, while Beyoncé stood motionless between them. No audio, no explanation, just violence, silence, and a very public rift. It was the first time the Carter-Knowles dynasty looked vulnerable. The fairy tale had a glitch. Why was Solange so angry? What had Jay-Z done behind those elevator doors or before them? The tabloids ran wild, cheating rumors flared, the internet demanded answers, but Beyoncé's camp dead silent. The story disappeared in days. No press conferences, just a carefully worded family statement, and smiles at the next red carpet. But fans couldn't forget, was this really the moment everything changed? Or had it started years earlier? Because buried under all the headlines was a secret only a few insiders knew. This is just the start. I spent hours connecting the dots, and what's next might shock you even more. Subscribe so you don't miss a single piece. Chapter 2. Mistress dies days before Beyoncé's reveal. Cathy White, a name few had heard in the early 2000s. Publicist, actress, half Korean, half black. A rising star in the LA entertainment scene. Stunning, connected, and according to whispered rumors, closer to Jay-Z than the public ever knew. Photos began to surface in the mid-2000s. Cathy laughing beside Jay-Z and Diddy at Tao in Las Vegas. Another image at a private event, arm brushing shoulder, a gaze that lingered a second too long. People talked, but nothing stuck. Not until 2011, when journalist Liz Crokin started digging. She was assigned a story: investigate online reports of an affair between Jay-Z and this mysterious woman named Cathy White. At first, Cathy denied everything. She claimed she'd never met Jay-Z, but then she called back. "I uncovered photos of Cathy hanging with Jay-Z and Diddy," Crokin later revealed. "When I confronted her, she paused, and then she said maybe she would go public." That was the last time anyone heard from Cathy White. Days later, August 2011 news broke that Cathy had died suddenly of a brain aneurysm. She was just 29 years old. And here's the eerie twist. Her death came days before Beyoncé announced her pregnancy at the MTV Video Music Awards, rubbing her stomach in that now iconic Love on Top performance. Coincidence? Maybe. But the internet had questions. Too many questions. Was Cathy pregnant when she died? Was she preparing to speak out? Was someone trying to silence her? One theory claimed Cathy was carrying Jay-Z's child and intended to reveal the affair. Another claimed Beyoncé's pregnancy announcement was strategically timed to redirect headlines and bury the scandal. The speculation exploded, and yet Beyoncé's camp never addressed it. For years, her publicist refused to comment. Jay-Z stayed silent. No one confirmed, no one denied. Until now. In a 2025 interview, a longtime member of Beyoncé's PR team was asked once again about Cathy White. This time the answer was different. "We don't deal in ghosts," she said, "but some truths finally belong to the living." Just one line, but it sent shockwaves through the Bayhive and beyond. Was this a cryptic confirmation? A quiet admission of something far bigger than anyone expected? And if they're finally acknowledging this rumor now, after 2 decades of silence, what else have they been hiding? Within hours, Cathy White was trending worldwide. Reddit threads reignited. Old conspiracy videos resurfaced. Even insiders who'd stayed quiet for years began hinting there was more to the story. One anonymous music executive told a podcast, "There were a lot of scared people in 2011. Cathy wasn't just a tabloid name, she was a liability." The timing, the denial, the sudden death, the silence. Was Cathy White silenced or sacrificed? But even that wasn't the whole story, because what happened next shocked everyone. Chapter 3, is Blue Ivy really Beyoncé's daughter? Beyoncé's 2011 MTV VMA performance was supposed to be a celebration. It became something else entirely. She finished her performance of Love on Top, dropped the mic, unbuttoned her glittering jacket, and rubbed her belly. The crowd erupted. Jay-Z beamed. The world celebrated what appeared to be the most iconic pregnancy reveal in pop culture history. But not everyone was cheering, because just days earlier, a relatively unknown woman named Cathy White had died under sudden and strange circumstances. And that timeline, it didn't sit right with fans, especially not the ones who had followed the Cathy White rumor for years. The forums lit up overnight. Why would Beyoncé announce her pregnancy just days after Cathy's death? Was Cathy pregnant too? Is this a distraction move? The theories only got darker. Some fans speculated that Jay-Z had gotten Cathy pregnant, and Beyoncé's VMA moment was damage control, a way to seize the narrative before the media connected the dots. Others took it even further, suggesting that Blue Ivy herself wasn't Beyoncé's biological child, but the child of Cathy White, raised under a different name to preserve the Carter Empire. Crazy, maybe, but the internet doesn't let crazy die easily, especially when silence from the Carters fed the fire. When asked directly, Beyoncé dismissed the surrogacy rumors and called them insane. She laughed off the idea that she hadn't carried her own daughter, but if the rumors had started fading, Beyoncé's own lyrics brought them roaring back. In 2024, Beyoncé released her Cowboy Carter album grittier, darker, rawer than anything she had ever put out, but it was one song that truly froze the Bayhive in place: Daughter. Your body laid out on these filthy floors. Your blood stains on my custom coutures. Bathroom attendant let me right in. She was a big fan. I ripped your dress and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do. It was visceral, it was violent, and it didn't sound like fiction. Some fans insisted it was metaphor, a creative expression of feminine rage. Others weren't so sure. One Reddit post went viral. She's not being artistic, she's confessing. That bathroom line? That sounds like something that really happened. And then came the most chilling moment yet. In a now deleted scene from her 2013 HBO documentary Life is But a Dream, Beyoncé is caught on camera, softly muttering, "I had to bury her to breathe again." It was never explained. The clip was pulled from later releases, but the internet doesn't forget. Was she talking about Cathy White? A metaphorical death, a real one? Was Blue Ivy Beyoncé's greatest joy, or the cover for someone else's? Coincidence? Or confession? But if you thought it stopped there, it didn't. Chapter 4, Lemonade revealed the real betrayal secret. When Lemonade dropped in 2016, the world called it art, but fans knew better. It wasn't just art. It wasn't even just therapy. It was a declaration of war. The album was raw, unfiltered, and packed with fury. Beyoncé had never spoken about Jay-Z's alleged cheating, but now she didn't need to. From the moment Hold Up opened with a baseball bat to the car window, to the venom dripping through Don't Hurt Yourself, and the unapologetic swagger of Sorry, it was clear someone had betrayed her, deeply, publicly, privately, and whoever however, Becky with the good hair was. She became an instant icon of infidelity, but according to insiders, Becky wasn't real. Not entirely. She was a symbol, a cover, a shield to hide a real woman whose name couldn't be spoken, not without tearing the entire Carter empire apart. Jay promised Beyoncé he'd handle Cathy, one former Roc Nation assistant claimed. She didn't want her around, he did what he had to. And what exactly does handle mean in a world where Cathy White is now dead? Jay-Z's response came with 444, his own confessional album. He admitted to cheating, he begged for forgiveness, he even called Beyoncé the baddest girl in the world and said he nearly lost her. But the lyrics never named names. No one knew who she really was. Still, fans connected the dots. They went back through Lemonade, line by line, hidden messages, shuffled metaphors. A few even claimed early drafts of Lemonade leaked on obscure forums contained direct references to a woman in red, Vegas receipts. Her voicemail still lives in his burner phone. And then came Sweet Honey, a 2023 digital-only track buried in a limited streaming release. Not part of an album, not widely promoted, but devastating. Lyrics from Sweet Honey: red lips in Vegas, no goodbye, lost time, your lies. She whispered to me, I didn't ask for this. Red lips, Vegas, no goodbye. It was too specific, too timely, too eerily close to Cathy's final known location. Was Beyoncé letting Cathy speak? Or was she speaking to Cathy? One fan tweeted, that's not a lyric, that's a ghost. And it raised a terrifying question. What if Lemonade wasn't aimed at the public, but at one woman who never got to tell her side of the story? The lemonade wasn't sweet, it was bitter, fermented, pressed from pain, and poured out for the world, but only a few knew who it was really meant for. And what does that mean for everything they built together? The marriage, the brand, the billions. Because if Cathy was the secret that sparked it all, then the Carter legacy was never built on love, it was built on silence. And yet, some say this wasn't even the darkest secret they kept. Chapter 5, Beyoncé's publicist finally breaks the silence. For 2 decades, the Cathy White rumor lived on in whispers, message boards, and fan theories. It was never printed in headlines, never spoken about on the record, just a persistent, haunting shadow lurking at the edges of Beyoncé and Jay-Z's carefully curated story. But then in early 2025, that silence cracked. During a press junket promoting Cowboy Carter, a journalist did what no one dared before. They asked, out loud, not just about the music or the legacy or the fashion, but about the conspiracy, the Cathy White theory. The room tensed. Beyoncé didn't flinch. She offered no smile, no denial. She just stared ahead, cold, composed, silent, but sitting just behind her. Her longtime publicist leaned into the mic. We don't confirm fiction, she said, voice low but deliberate. But sometimes, time does that for us. That line changed everything. It wasn't a yes, it wasn't a no. It was something more dangerous, a controlled leak of truth, a passive confirmation designed to stir reaction without consequences. And stir it did. Within hours, Cathy White was trending worldwide again. Old YouTube deep dives resurfaced. Reddit threads lit up. Even mainstream media outlets who had ignored the rumor for decades were suddenly running with it. Then came the second blow. Photos emerged taken quietly at a small memorial service for Cathy White's family in Louisiana. Nestled among the flower arrangements was a handwritten card signed simply, "With peace, the Carter Foundation." There was no press release, no tweets, no interviews, but the message was loud and clear. They acknowledged her, at last. And that wasn't all. According to one source close to Cathy's family, Jay-Z had made a private visit in late 2024. It was quiet, the source said. No cameras, no entourage, just him. He sat down, offered condolences, and apologized. Not for the rumors, for the silence, whether it was guilt, image control, or something deeper we may never know. But Beyoncé's latest work continues to play with fire. The lyrics in Cowboy Carter don't hold back. She sings of betrayal, of vengeance, of secrets that only the floorboards remember. In interviews, she speaks in riddles. Every metaphor sounds like a confession waiting to happen. And Jay-Z, he's disappearing. No press appearances, no tour announcements, not even backstage at her latest performances. The man who once dominated hip-hop is stepping into the shadows. Some say it's strategy, others say he's finally breaking. striking. But what's undeniable is this: the veil of perfection has finally lifted. Beyoncé once said, "I'm not who you think I am, I never was." If even half of what's been implied is true, if Cathy White was more than just a rumor, if she was part of the Carter story all along, then this takes more than celebrity gossip. It's a rewriting of the most powerful love story in pop culture. And still, some insiders claim there's more waiting to be uncovered. If this secret stayed buried for 20 years, imagine what else they're hiding. Tap the next video on your screen to uncover the scandal Beyoncé never wanted exposed. And if this shook you, hit like, subscribe for more untold stories, and drop your thoughts in the comments we're watching.